you should only start spending money when you know for a fact that you can offer the service to make money.
Her question was, can I combine the page for esthetician with my lashes, or do I have to create a separate account?
Instagram, on the other side, you need 9 posts just for the fact that you don't want people to have to scroll. You have to hit them right there when they go on your account if they decide to do so. Your biggest mistake is now you put on the thumbnail the same thing that you put in the title, and you lose a chance because the title should say one thing and the thumbnail should sell. What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of, well, this is actually going to be a joint episode. So it's going to go live on both podcasts, which is Brand Up and Full-Time Lash Artist with my wife. So she's going to ask me a lot of, I would say, advanced, but also beginner-friendly questions when it comes to marketing, how to get clients. It's just we're going to stick to the beauty industry / lash industry. But it does apply to, I have to mention this because going on my podcast, I have people in the audience from all kinds of industries. So it does apply to any kind of, in this case, any kind of local business. If you sell something online, so for example, how it is in your case as a trainer, you sell courses, you sell mentorship and things like that. On that regard, it might be just a small portion of the marketing strategy. But a lot of them do apply to a lot of different industries, especially when it comes to local business. So you can get started.
Hi, babe. Thank you for having me again.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've been trying to do a bunch of series of these just because we got a pretty good response.
Right.
So go ahead.
So yeah, the model that we usually do after I do a lot of in-person classes, and once we finish the class,
For people that sorry for cutting out. For people that have no idea what you do, these are certification programs that
for beginners lash artists,
lash tech.
and lash tech, and also advanced lash techs, and
it happens here in Boston / Medford, and it's roughly 3 days.
Yeah, and usually after the 3 days, my husband comes in person, and
depending on the type of class that people opt in for, I get to spend about an hour to 2 hours asking questions and responding to, making a plan for how they can take what they learn in terms of the skill set that they got familiar with and they learned during those 3 days, and go and apply and actually start making money with it. Yeah.
And usually I see those type of questions from the class, during the class on those 3 days, because it's very intense. We usually spend around 9-10 hours per day. So I kind of got to understand where they struggle especially after the second day, where they struggle. And once we start the application, they see a lot more and they have more questions. And actually on my full-time lash artist group, the Facebook group, I also have some questions that people usually ask. And I feel like the most important question that I have right after they finish the class is what to do with the social media. I know some of my students, my recent student, she was already in the beauty industry. She was esthetician, and she had a page for esthetician already. And her question was, I remember exactly, her question was, can I combine the page for esthetician with my lashes, or do I have to create a separate account, or just put everything together? And also she had a good question. She said it has to be a business page or a personal page. So I think a lot of people are struggling when they start with this. Do I have to do this because I already have a couple followers? I already have some people that they
So it's a valid question, but it does come with a specific I guess, type of student. So this person already has a business. Now the pros is the fact that she had the I think it was only the IG, the Instagram account, and it was in the esthetician niche. Now when that happens, for the longest time, I shouldn't say against trying to offer a variety of services under one umbrella. You can do that once you get to a certain point at a salon level and you have a couple employees or a couple contractors, or maybe you rent the chairs or the bed, depending of the space setup. But in this case, I said, well, if you already have a clientele, right? It's not like she was trying to move away from that.
Right.
She still wanted to offer the esthetician services, and at that point, you have to leverage what you already have. And the one thing that I liked, that even though it was a brand new account, she had like 100 followers or something like that, but she had a couple of videos with the decent reach, 500, 600, 700, 800. Some of them had over 1,000, had 100 follower count. It doesn't happen too often. So there's no point to bury that account or completely rebrand it and change it and don't mention anything about esthetician, especially because she still wanted to offer the service moving forward. So my advice was, if you plan to do both, we have to rebrand it into her personal brand, right? What does that even mean? Because a lot of people have, mixed opinions about what a personal brand versus a business brand means. So she had the esthetician Instagram account, but nowhere on the account it was her name. It was the business name listed as the account. And we as people, we don't connect with brands, we connect with other people. So an easy fix, I would say, it would be to completely rebrand from a business name to her personal name. And the reason for that is, and I even mentioned that in the reels that we recorded, I said, if you plan in the future to add another service, as long as that service is still under the beauty industry umbrella, you don't have to do anything. And that's how you can actually test a variety of different content
and
styles.
See what works.
Because you don't have to, as long as it's your name, you act as a business, but at the same time, it's a personal brand, which means we're not one-dimensional. We don't just think about you as a person. You like dogs, right? You like traveling, you like fashion, you like fitness. Same with me. I like fitness, I like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, traveling, spending time with my dog, spending time with you, family type of content. So when you are able to find the perfect mix, you're probably not familiar with this, but it was one podcast episode from Jenna Kutcher. I don't know if you follow her or not. And she was the first one that I mentioned. I think you do listen to her podcast. But this is an old, I think it's like 5 years ago. And this is where Russell Brunson, she was, one of the most well-known marketers of this age. He was talking about how you can mix personal stuff with business to attract more clients. So put it this way, if I sell marketing consulting, for example, but I also like dogs, and I like tattoos, and I like watches, and I like maybe sport cars or whatever, and then another person, a possible client, or maybe I post pictures. I've noticed I get the highest amount of likes and views when I post stories with you when we work out, or when we spend time at the sauna, or with the dog.
People connect.
Exactly, especially people that have similar interests. Especially other people that like fitness, they like family time, they like dogs, they like if you put 10, so let's say I have one potential client that is looking for marketing services, and we line up 5 of us, me and 4 other people that sell the same service, same price, Maybe we have authority in the niche similar, or maybe one slightly higher than the other. But then none of them have dogs, none of them like sports, none of them like family time. They just become irrelevant.
I see that from my a lot of my students.
So, and then this is a question that I asked a lot of times when I asked them, well, do you remember what were the things that you like? Oh, after I found Cosmina on Google, I follow her stories and I see that she posts with her dog, and then posts with spending time at the sauna and working out and cooking and whatever, right?
Language.
So all these things are part of someone building their personal brand. So a lot of times, and I was guilty of this too at the beginning. I thought, well, no, why would someone care at all about that? Because if they come for business or marketing, they want to see that. They don't want to see so. But it's a specific amount, well, not necessarily a number, especially stories. If you post stories about those things, you'll never get criticized about it. I've noticed when I post reels on my feed that are from the gym, and they don't involve necessarily things to do, advice, business, or marketing related, they get not necessarily a high number of views. However, the way that I look at it, but some of them, when I post with Zeus, with our dog, I get the highest amount of likes. So a certain amount of those people, if they at some point, if they need marketing services or they need like marketing consulting or whatever, they'll be able to still see my business content, right? So it's the same going back, because I wanted to kind of explain a few different scenarios. But going back to your student, the best option, in my opinion, is to reframe and rebrand the Instagram account, the Facebook page, and yes, from a technical standpoint, it has to be a business account, because I know you asked, should it be a business page or a personal page? I think you meant from a technical standpoint. So you have to, in order to eventually run a sponsored campaign on Instagram, you have to be a business account. You have to go into settings and change it to a business account. Also, in order to attach your Facebook page to your Instagram account, it has to be a business page connected to a business account. But from a strategy standpoint, that's why it's called a personal brand. Think about in your case, yes, the username is Lash Trainer Pro, but the name is your name, and then the content that you post, it's also for beginners that want to become lash techs, but also for advanced lash techs that want to become lash trainers, right? So let's say, and then you post some funny reels, you know, when we did the Eastern European smiling, non-smiling one.
There was another, sorry to interrupt you, another thing that some of my students realize, that when you go on my Instagram profile, it's all about business. Trainings, classes, students, like all about lashes, right? And then once in a while, when I say once in a while, it's maybe like once every year, I post something outside of this, something with you, or something with the dog, or something funny, and I get the most views.
You're talking about the feed.
The feed. The feed itself.
Yeah, you have to.
Stories, it's something else, and that's why I was about to say. One of my students, she said, Cosmina, but I realized something. All your posts, your feed, it's about business. But when I go on your stories, you talk about food, going to the gym, you show your dog, your husband, things like that, but never post anything on your feed. And I said, that's true, but I post a lot on my stories.
And also, one thing that actually both of us are missing, a lot of the stories, especially the personal ones, should be added into a highlight.
Or maybe on the feed?
Well, we can test, right? Gary Vee, for example, says, and then he's involved in like 1,000 different businesses and he likes 1,000 different things, and he posts on his feed all of them combined, right? But none of us have 10 million followers that he can. But he said this. He said, look, I can't remember exactly what was the question. He said, I have 10 million followers on IG, and then I posted this video and he got 2,000 views. You know, maybe for me and you, 2,000 views might seem a decent number, but for someone with 10 million followers, it's nothing. It hurts the account, right? So you can still post on the feed, and if we realize, I know you are more like kind
Perfect.
of no, but you're trying to keep the aesthetic of your
that's another thing that I want to ask you.
Yeah, I honestly, and
I
again,
know you're against
no, I'm not that I'm against.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, how do I consume somebody's Instagram content?
Yeah.
And I never go to someone's account unless I see a reel that is so good that makes me stop and want to check more of that person's stuff. Then,
when you see the whole feed.
Yes, but here's another thing. I've seen some tactics that I think like very few accounts do this. You know, you have your feed, but then you also have your Reels feed.
Yes.
I've seen some accounts that have a regular feed of just photos. So like really polished, fully edited with the aesthetic that you like. And then the Reels feed is all over the place. It's all over the place. It's all different colors, different type of fonts, different types of text, different types of content.
Wow.
Completely different than what the photos show. Right? So now I'm thinking, maybe this is a way, because I was debating with my like recently I started to post some new like gym content, fitness content, and I'm like, but it doesn't really connect with what I talk about, like marketing and business. One thing to do it would be me recording at the gym talking about business.
That's still business.
Yeah, but you see what I mean? Like in like you get attracted, like if someone likes fitness but he's also into business, you see in the background, because 80% of people watch Instagram content, especially Reels, with like no sound, like on mute, because they watch it at work or somewhere where they cannot put the volume really loud. That's another way to do it, right? You can, like for example, in your case, would be at the salon talking about lifestyle, or same thing, at the gym talking about lashes. And how you can connect, maybe like in my case would be, how can I connect or why fitness and business are so related. You know, if you think that you're gonna get six-pack abs or you're gonna get muscles by just going 1 week at the gym or 2 weeks, or you take a magic pill and now all of a sudden, boom, you get...
That's marketing.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. It is true. Especially for the people selling the pills. But it doesn't happen overnight, right? You know, you have to be consistent and talk. So there are ways that I'm actually doing this. And trust me, it's so much harder to do it for me than me to do it for somebody else, because it's... You know, when you get a set of eyes, that's completely outside. But again, the reason that I made these quick like parentheses is for your student to kind of understand the idea of, all right, you rebrand everything under your name, all your socials, all her socials, Instagram, Facebook page, TikTok, Pinterest if she does it, but at least these three: Instagram, YouTube Shorts, and the Facebook page. Under the same personal name. I haven't mentioned Google in here because Google has to be Google page, Google Maps listing. It has to be a business name. You can't just put your personal name because it's going to be hard to verify it. But you can post on all the platforms. You record one video and then you post on all of them. And of course, in here we can add LinkedIn and all the others. But if she decides at some point to add hair, or maybe I remember she was talking about doing some collaborations with her sister, that I think her sister does nails. Same thing. It's so much. She can easily, even now, if she would have rebranded under her personal name, she can start posting about nails with her sister now, especially if they're doing collabs. Especially if the sister starts the account and invites her as the collaborator. And that's another thing that we can talk about it if you feel it's not too advanced. But the easiest way would be, again, rebrand under the personal name. Username ideally has to have something with SEO. So in this case, she would have to choose esthetician versus lashes. But again, it's not locked in stone. She can always change it. It's just she has to remember to change it for all of them. If she wants to, or her main audience now, it's esthetician services, or at least people know her for the videos that she posts about esthetician services, like all kinds of treatments that she recommends and she does in store. That one can stay the way it is, just making sure there's no underscores, lines, points, any grammar type of punctuation. Those have to go away.
I know you explain about this all the time during the class.
It's crazy because it hurts. Nobody will search for esthetician 673 dot underscore or lash artist 345. Right, and then a lot of times it's hard because you don't find the username available.
Yeah.
But the easiest way would be look or decide what the name it's gonna be, and then you have to add some type of SEO component. Like I've never really pushed as much Instagram and TikTok for SEO, but trust me, the AI, the last 3 months, it's crazy to me to see. Everybody can do it now. You can look in your, you can start, well, if you start the account like right now, it's probably gonna take a few videos, but you can have 1 like on the video, 10 views, and after 3-4 hours, so you post a reel, and if you go back to the reel, I don't know if you have to go and check it from another account, but even if you check it from your own, Instagram, it's gonna show with the blue type of text, and I can't remember exactly what the emoji is or the sign. I think it's a search or something. AI, it recognizes what the video is about, but it's a good thing because it knows in which category to put the video.
And what exactly to, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. So you can talk about lashes and have hashtags about fitness. It doesn't matter. You're not able to trick the algorithm anymore.
Yeah.
Before it used to be where you could put the title and description and you play a couple hashtags and you will fool the algorithm into thinking that that video is about something. No, now it actually reads the title and the caption, but it actually compares it with the transcription of the video and what you talk in the video.
That's smart.
It's crazy smart. Yeah, it's almost ChatGPT meets meets Instagram
everything.
meets you.
Yeah.
Right, so it makes things easier for people, because now that was the biggest struggle for any small account. Small meaning less than 100 followers. Instagram wouldn't know, or TikTok for that matter, wouldn't know how to in what category to put your account to show it to people.
To find you.
Yeah, they're interested, because if you search, Instagram has some not metrics but topics.
Yeah.
But if you search within those, you won't find lashes, you won't find esthetician, you won't find. So I think in the beauty you find in the beauty space you can find things like skincare, hair care, or something like that, and that's pretty much it. Not much. Then in the pet accounts you find pet and owner bond or something like that. Pet toys. They're not too many. But now with this, when the algorithm literally understands what you talk about in the video and it puts it in a category, like in a 1 short sentence or 1 short phrase, it knows exactly what the video is about. So now it's just a matter of you picking the 5 to 10 biggest accounts, or even smaller accounts, let's say 10K, between 10K and 20K. Look at what are the highest viewed videos and go to the comments and then see what the blue text says, because Instagram literally, it tells you the phrase. So now make sure you do videos about what that phrase says. Now, of course, you have to make the video better, and you have to make sure you pass that 3-second threshold, because the way that it works is first they publish it to 10% of your audience if you have at least 100 followers. If that 10% watches more than 3 seconds, you'll show it to another 10%.
Mm-hmm.
But if they don't watch the 3 seconds and they skip, that's it. The video dies.
Good. Yeah.
And that just means.
So you have to test.
Yeah, that just means you have to be better at those 3 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a matter of, a lot of times we get sentimental on these, and we tend to oh, I'm shadow banned. No, content just sucks, or the beginning sucks. Sometimes the video might be and I even told you about this. You have some videos that performed really good,
right?
But the 3 seconds suck at the beginning. And I know in your case, the main reason I think you struggle with this is the fact that you also do YouTube, and YouTube is a long form video. So a lot of times, if you're recording the same day, you might get confused. All right, so as you can tell, we can talk about this forever. So let's move on to
I was just about to say, how many times I spend so much time on creating a perfect video, and then an amazing thumbnail, and then this, and then the video is
YouTube or Instagram?
Both.
No, I disagree. One, you do not spend time on thumbnails, almost at all. You might spend time putting the text in place, but you do not spend time on understanding. Your biggest mistake is now you put on the thumbnail the same thing that you put in the title, and you lose a chance because the title should say one thing and the thumbnail should sell, quote unquote, why people should click. First is the click. So the thumbnail sells the click, the title sells the reason for people might want to watch.
Yeah.
And then the video itself, so the first 10 seconds in theory should sell the next 30 seconds. Right? So if you remember how many times I said to you, stop spending 1 minute saying your name and all the rest. And that's why now we do the highlights at the beginning.
And remember the first video that I did, it was probably 5 years ago when I started my YouTube channel, and I filmed that video playing on the mannequin, and the quality of the video, it wasn't.
It sucks, but it's got over 1 million views. It's the video that got you, I think.
Here.
No, but it's the video that got you probably more than 10,000 subs.
Yeah.
And it's really bad if you look at. You don't even
the sound, it wasn't.
Sound is bad. You're not even in the video.
Yeah.
You're not in the video. It's
hands. Yeah.
Yeah, it's your hands on the.
But yeah.
But that shows it actually if you actually watching that video, you realize you did not spend time talking what's your name and for how long you've been there. You went straight into it.
Yeah.
Which should tell you something.
You have to, you have to do a lot and test a lot. Do this and then try something else. I don't know,
But once you find something that works, you shouldn't change it, and that's your problem too. And I'm guilty I'm guilty of this too, because we think, oh, if this works, let's try to improve it. No.
Yeah, no.
Fucking, if this worked, let it fucking go, and then let it run until it stops working.
Yeah. And that's probably one of the biggest mistake that I do. I try to be so perfect, and you know that because you're always telling me, Cosmina, it doesn't have to be I'm talking about Instagram, the feed. Everything has to have the same color, the same writing, the same. It's just, if I don't do that, I feel like, oh my god, nobody's gonna watch my profile now.
But you can do it in a way without spending time. You know how? You can, instead of you spending time trying to get a thumbnail that you're customizing for each video, you should just use that color that you want on the text in your captions.
In your caption,
and then make sure you use a LUT on the video, which is a filter. I don't know if you've ever used, you've used CapCut, but CapCut has a way that if you like one specific thumbnail, you tell CapCut, match this video with this thumbnail, and it automatically autocorrects the color of the video to match the thumbnail or the photo that you want, right? Like if you like it darker, you don't have to spend time like decreasing the brightness and decreasing or increasing the contrast. No, you just tell CapCut, match the thumbnail, and that way you don't have to spend time. You pick one from the video, and you can still.
That's way easier.
It's like it's not going to be 100%. It's going to be 90%. But trust me, nobody. There are so many other things that you could stress about. Like for example,
making everything perfect.
You can look at the top 10 videos of this month or top 3 videos of this month, download them, and record the first 3 seconds again. Because if you already did the work, why not just let's try it again? No, because nobody's going to remember.
Of course. Yeah, so we can talk about this probably another 3 hours about Canva, where you should do this.
But these are valid points, though.
Yeah, they're important. But I do have another question, and I think that's one of your favorite. And people, once they finish the class, students, they struggle a lot with what to do after the class. Should they invest money on, Google, or do they spend money on ads? Or just play organic, see how everything goes. And one of the questions that I had recently, I think last week, from a student was like, Cosmina, but if I'm gonna start boosting the posts, especially on Instagram, or start doing some Google ads and spend some money per day, and I don't even have my profile there, I don't even have some pictures, like a nice picture, I have a client coming and then I don't even know how to do like a full and a complete set. Should I wait and get more a little bit better and post a little bit more and then start investing money on Google ads? Or should I start like right away? What do you think? And before we go into that, I want to share one of my stories since when I started. I will never forget. I was in the small office, remember? In the little office that
downstairs.
I started. Yeah. And oh my God, it was probably for the first month or second month when I started to do lashes, and my profile on Instagram was very well done, was super optimized, and I was posting like how to clean your lashes, how to mix the foam cleanser. It was really nice, well done. And a girl from Boston, it was a fitness model, she found me on Instagram because I was posting a lot and I was very on top of everything.
You even did some outreach to some accounts.
Yeah. And she texted me, Cosmina, I really love your profile. Your work is amazing. And I had some sets there. Your work is amazing. Can I book a set with you for a mega volume? And I wasn't even there. I didn't even know how to do, because I was right at the beginning. I didn't even know how to do volume, like the crazy volume, mega volume. And on top of my mind, I was like, of course, sure. She came and I did it. It took me around 4 hours. I did it. She was so happy. And that was kind of the story that I will never forget.
I thought you were sharing a different story, but the one with the lady that kind of got... No. She got scared because it was during winter time. Yeah, it was winter time, and being an office and being a commercial area, there was a lot of trucks and whatnot. She came, it wasn't only 5:30 p.m., so it wasn't crazy. No, not even before 5.
Yeah.
But it got dark early because it was winter, and then when she didn't even get inside, because inside it looked really nice as a salon. It was small, but outside it looked like a warehouse, and it was surrounded by, she got scared and left. But no, going back to your question, I always say to anybody, not just your students, you should only start spending money when you know for a fact that you can offer the service to make money. So nobody should start charging while they test their skill set and they don't feel comfortable even knowing how to ask for money. So that would be a complete waste of resources. It doesn't make any sense at all. Of course, everybody's different. And one person might take 2 weeks to get comfortable with the skill set, and then other person might take 6 months. Other person might have a full-time job and can do it in 6 months only because she can only practice once every 2 weeks.
Right.
It's like, who am I to judge, or who? Nobody's in the right position to judge, but everybody has its own journey, and that's why I always say, do not compare your level 1 to somebody else's level 10, because it's wrong. Like you'll get discouraged right away. Now, at the same time, and again, some people are resourceful, meaning even the way that I can tell, even the way that some students ask the question, instead of asking, so what can I do, like, in order to get clients? I always say the fastest way. So assuming that you already charge for 1, 2 sets, 3 sets, because think about this. Think about as, like, when it comes to ads, sponsored campaigns on Instagram, Google, and spending money on all of these type of, because these are sponsored campaigns. This is just the gasoline that you pour on a fire. The fire means you know how to sell your service. If you don't feel comfortable selling, you don't have a fire. So you pour gas on what? On cement, right? You know what I mean? Like, you should first, now you shouldn't be you don't have to wait until you're perfect, because that's never gonna happen. Like, there are people that they might do this for 10 years and they probably never spent a dime on ads because because they heard some people saying on the internet, oh, I spent $100 on Facebook and they and my phone never rang, or I spent $200 on Yelp and they only took my money, or whatever, right? Like, it's never a perfect scenario. However, let's assume you are comfortable with the skill set. You already charged at least 2 to 5 clients. Now it comes to a point where you have to understand what resources you have. If you don't have any resources, meaning you don't have resources, can be money, saved cash from your full-time job, or maybe you had another business before, like you had a cleaning company before, right? Like you had some
or maybe you do something else on the side, like
exactly, like you have like you have resources. Like, resources doesn't mean just cash. It can be a credit card. So now you're thinking, all right, instead of spending $7 on a Starbucks coffee every morning times 30, that's $210 that you can spend on Google Ads and maybe land 2-3 customers that already it's profitable, right? Yeah. That's a resource. Yeah. Resource can also mean you are working either in a salon as an employee or in a salon as yourself, or maybe out of your living room, and you already have a clientele of 10 people. Those 10 people are a really valuable resource, assuming you sell, in a similar service. So in the beauty industry would be you sell hair services, esthetician, any kind of combination of like nails, eyebrows, makeup, all kinds of other things in between. And now you try, or you offer a really good incentive for those people to try your lash services, because you might be good at one thing, but if you've never offered them this service, they cannot be 100% sure that you know what you're doing, right? So there's nothing wrong because again, it's a pay-to-play game. Like, business is a pay-to-play game. You either pay with time or you pay with money. And if you don't pay to play, it means it's probably a hobby yet. Meaning, if you don't spend time to get business, it means you don't get business. So that means you don't, maybe you don't take it seriously. It's nothing wrong with that. It can be a hobby, but we're trying to make money in this, right? Because you're spending time, you're spending resources, you spend money to, to go to your trainings and whatever.
Class, yeah.
So going back to that, that's why I feel like I take a while to go straight to the point in these, but I want to explain the different scenarios because it's, I don't want everybody to just take one as a blank statement. But once you sold a couple times and you feel comfortable with your skill set, it comes to a point where you have to decide, am I valuing my time the proper way? Because if you can make $200 with a set of lashes versus $50 to $100 doing something else in the same time frame, you have to decide.
Correct.
Am I keep doing the same thing and charge half, or I switch on and I try to get more lash clients? And then let's say you really went through all your resources, regardless if it's cash, other potential clients. Those potential clients have friends and family members. You ask them and you give them an incentive to recommend somebody else to get lash services, right? Now, let's say you did all that. Now it's time to get your feet wet with some ads. In my opinion, the simplest way is Instagram, but for specific lash extensions, I do feel Google ads will give you a faster result. And before, I used to say I wouldn't recommend directly to start with Google because it was really hard and difficult to get to understand the platform. But now with a lot more AI and a lot more automation and stuff, Google made it easy to start the campaign directly from Google Maps. Mm-hmm. You pretty much don't even log into the big old Google Ads platform, because that's scary when you first log in. Like, it has so many different, and it changes every day, the layout and all that. But doing it from Google Maps, it is gonna ask you, but again, you had a good point. You said, well, what if I start the campaign and I don't have my profile optimized? You shouldn't start a campaign if your profile is not optimized.
Exactly. So
first,
before you start with any ads, and I know that from myself, you have to have everything set up.
And then when I say set up, now it takes less than half an hour because you have ChatGPT.
Exactly.
Before, when we were doing, like, it was all done by me pretty much. Yeah. You did the first draft, but I had to polish it and make it sound good and make it SEO optimized. Now you tell ChatGPT, you literally go to the biggest competitor, you copy all their descriptions, and then you go to ChatGPT and say, my name is, and my brand is, and write me a search engine optimized description for my Google Maps listing to include these keywords, and make it or write it in a really friendly tone, if that's your tone, right? Yeah. If your services are really luxury, you tell my services are luxury, and he caters towards a luxury clientele, and you will literally make it sound like that.
Amazing.
So there's no excuse.
Right.
You optimize the Instagram account and the Google Maps account, and that's it.
Because Instagram also
is 9 posts.
Goes to Facebook, no? Everything that is
and then the Facebook page itself is just for, because if you want to run IG ads, you need to have a Facebook page to get them going. To do it properly, you can boost it from within the app, but that's not the best way to do it. But if somebody would ask me if I could pick one or the other, I would pick Google. Before you run a Google ad campaign, you need to make sure you have at least 3 to 4 before and after photos, maybe 1 or 2 photos with yourself working on a mannequin or on a client. If you have a 15-20 second video testimonial, great. If not, you need at least 2 to 3 5-star reviews. And everybody has 2-3 friends or 2-3 family members that you can offer your lash services for free, and then in exchange of a 5-star review, let's be honest, You're not faking it in a way that you create yourself 3 Gmail accounts and write 5 fake reviews.
Right.
Because Google is gonna recognize the IP, and those reviews are not gonna stick.
Mm-hmm.
Like we all know that we can have 6, 7, 10 Gmail accounts, but Google is gonna recognize the IP, and in reality, a client won't live in the same house with you,
Yeah.
right? That's why it happens when, I wrote a review and it didn't stick. Well, guess what? You wrote it from the same house. At least go to the gym and write it from the gym. Anyway, that's a whole different story. But so you have 2, 3 reviews. You don't have to make it crazy, but you have to have the schedule. Google asks you what's the address, what services you offer, what category, and then they ask you a couple of questions if you offer parking and bathrooms and all kinds of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Just write no. If you don't, it's not going to affect the at all the account. And then you start a campaign. And then when you start a campaign, Google is going to ask you, what are you selling, or what's the main service? If you have a website already, paste the page URL of the specific service. So now it's the best way for me to explain why I hate when somebody says I want to offer 10 different services. Because when you run a Google ad campaign like this, you're not able to put 10 services in
All
one
of them
campaign,
in one campaign.
because you can never know which campaign and what keyword, because then you have a combination of this keyword performed the best in this city
Yeah.
related to this service.
Yeah.
How the fuck you combining 10 services with 10 different keywords and 10, right?
Yeah.
So Google is asking you what service you're promoting. If you don't have a website, that's fine. You're not required to have one. But when it asks you what service you're selling, it automatically creates a team. Team, not as a TEAM, like a team of people. It's a team, THEME, almost like an aesthetic team of the account.
The account.
So if you say /extension services, it's going to ask you, is classic extension services or or classic lashes or classic sets a valid keyword? You can say yes or no. You can select it or don't if you don't want to offer classic, for example, right? And even in there, you should have a campaign, but again, this is more advanced. You should have a campaign for volume and you should have a separate campaign for classic. Because one will outperform the other, or one will pull the campaign down and you won't know why. Because this is an automated way of doing, because again, you can start this campaign with $5 a day. Now, do I recommend 5? No, I would say at least a minimum of $10. Because imagine, these are high intent purchasing people that are typing in eyelash salon near me, lash tech in Boston, eyelash services available now, lash, right? Like, if you're a person that is looking for that, it means you're looking for the service. So it's a really high intent purchasing. It's like it's a demanding type of task from that person. So that's why I say it's a lot more powerful than Instagram for this. For trainings, it might be different. It's a little more easier to attract, to reach a pretty big audience on Instagram. But now that I say that, in order to test, it's the same. Like, it's still lash trainings near me. It's still a lot more valuable than targeting someone on IG that is just, because you're not able to target keywords on Instagram, right? You can only target, like, you go with the age group, male or female, the area, and then interest. So it's still, in my opinion, Google is still better than the other. And then before, I used to say, well, start with Instagram because it's easier to understand the concept of launching a paid campaign. But nowadays, no, I would say everybody should start with Google and then use IG to kind of
connect,
fulfill both audiences.
You also need to have, and I think we have another podcast about this,
the 9 posts
with the 9 posts on Instagram, because you can start a Google campaign or you can start something on Google and you only have 1 post on Instagram.
if you start the campaign on Google, you can still have just one post on Instagram because they're not connected necessarily. Now, Google now they do ask you when you create the account, the Google Maps listing account. They ask you, do you have a TikTok? Do you have a Pinterest account? Do you have YouTube? Especially YouTube. Even if you don't post necessarily, you should connect Google and YouTube together under the same Gmail, because Google is looking at all of these links, and if all of them link back to your Google account, it's just Google seeing, oh, this is a legit business. It's not just a person that decided overnight, I'm going to do lashes, and now she's doing a Google map listing. So yeah, like it doesn't take too long to optimize the account. Instagram, on the other side, you need 9 posts just for the fact that you don't want people to have to scroll. You have to like hit them right there when they go on your account if they decide to do so. But someone that starts the search on Google, they wouldn't necessarily go on Instagram unless they talk to you. Like you have this technique, especially with students, that they find you on Google.
And they go directly to...
No, but even if they talk to you over the phone and say, well, we can schedule an actual call to talk a little later, but until then, follow me on Instagram so you can see
a lot more.
Yeah, so that's a really great way to connect.
And everybody does that.
To connect these two. So yeah, simplest way to look at it. You already sold at least 2-3 sets. You feel comfortable and confident with your ability to do the sets. Then you optimize both accounts, Google listing, Google Maps listing, and Instagram, and the Facebook page for that matter. And by the way, one thing that I haven't mentioned, on Google you can actually post regular post the same way that you post on Instagram. Now if you try to post a reel, if it's longer than 30 seconds, it doesn't let you. So what we do on your account is we take a screenshot of either the thumbnail or some of some part of the video, same caption, same name, and then the post URL, it's the actual post on Instagram. So it shows Google like you're legit, and you care about the customers because you post these updates is what they call it. So
now just a little side note for you guys, even if you're a beginner lash artist, because I know a lot of students, a lot of people there, they feel so overwhelmed because they know everything, but it's so hard to put everything in place and it's so hard to practice. I always recommend to all my students, master one thing at a time. If you don't feel comfortable doing like crazy sets or volume, because obviously you're not there at the beginning, just try to master one thing at a time and then post a lot about this. And I remember I always give her as an example to all my students. One of my students that she took the class a couple years ago, and you explain her everything about marketing, what to do after the class. She implemented everything that you
everything I said,
taught her, and I swear that she was posting for, I want to say, a year, everything about classic. But that classic was on top of everything. She mastered the classic and people knew her for classic. Natural sets, beautiful sets, nothing about volume. So you don't have to do everything at once. Just master one at a time. Once you feel comfortable with this, create a lot of videos, a lot of posts, put a lot of pictures, and that's how people are going to find you for that specific set, and then once you feel comfortable, go to the next.
Wait a second. Oh, that's a great
because
great way to look at
you
it.
feel overwhelmed with everything at first.
Yeah, and then I talk about this in another video that you asked me. It comes to a point where you'll have to outsource some of the stuff, right? Like maybe some of the editing. Maybe you pick a day. This was a question actually 2 weeks ago. You pick a day, you record 7 reels, right? And then you give it to someone to edit, or you use instead of editing the video manually, you pay for one of the apps that does captions, or even CapCut does some editing automatic, but you pay the captions app Oh, it's crazy. Like the amount, the
everything.
type of editing, and the B-roll, and the music,
Everything.
and the effects, and you pay $20 a month. I mean,
I know. And then you have videos for the rest of the week. If you
Yeah.
create like,
or if you want to take it a step further, you create a long form video, like it can be similar to a podcast like this, or
cut.
yeah, and then the same thing. You in CapCut, I think it's I forget the exact name of the setting, but it's creating shorts from a long form video.
Mm-hmm.
So you upload a video, and then CapCut is gonna automatically
yeah.
cut them in
That's
short.
Amazing.
In short video. I mean, before, I remember we used to pay
Yeah.
so much money to someone. You
Yeah.
had to listen the entire video, cut 60 seconds to make sense, right? Because not all of them make sense.
Yeah.
Like you can just randomly cut in the
Whatever
middle
you
of,
want,
in the
yeah.
middle of the
Yeah.
sentence. But start with Reels because it's easier to digest. It's easier to record a 60-second video than it is to record a 10-minute video.
Yeah. And my last question, how do you feel about, and that was the question that I had in the class, how do you feel about people that they're not comfortable on the camera? They have to post only like regular pictures with regular sets, especially lashes, talking about lashes. Only lashes, only pictures, and that's it, not videos, not anything, because you're not feeling comfortable.
No,
So-
well, is that the question?
Yeah.
So no, the short answer is they have to become comfortable. No, but it's also a valid point because it's awkward to look at the camera thinking that someone is behind it, or I mean, you think you get 1,000 views on that video. Meaning, imagine having 1,000 people waiting outside and you're at the window talking. Right? It's weird. Some of your videos, like the one on YouTube that had 1 million views, and a couple of them had
And
over
I'm not in the
300.
video.
But in some of them you are, and you still got 200,000-300,000 views, whatever. First way to create videos, if you're not comfortable on camera, when people say I'm not comfortable on camera, they actually want to say I'm not comfortable looking at the camera while I talk.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So first trick is
Don't look at the camera.
yeah. Well, that's going to be the last because CapCut
We're not looking at the camera right now.
yeah, but not a lot of people have someone else to interview them.
Yeah.
Right? So of course it's also a valid point. But first type of content is voiceovers.
Yeah.
You put the phone somewhere, recording you as you work.
Something. Mm-hmm.
60 seconds, you put it on speed 1.7 or 2, depending what type of video it is. You can go on CapCut and find one of the templates, and you just the same video multiple times. You crop it in a couple things, and they match everything from the video to the music to the effects. They do it all, and then on top of that, you add
The
voiceover
voice.
if you feel it's necessary.
Mm-hmm.
That's one type of content. The second is it's still the same, but you don't add voiceovers.
Mm-hmm.
Those are more like cinematic style, right? Like CapCut. It's basically made by TikTok. It's owned by TikTok. I don't know if you knew that or not. So it's CAPCUT. The platform, the app, you can use it on your phone or you can use it on your laptop. Laptop has a lot more functionality, but phone is definitely good enough. So it's the same content. You still don't talk. You don't even have to look at the camera at all. So we have two types of videos already, right? It's just this. The second one is the one where you put voiceovers are not going to be cinematic, meaning there's no point to have effects like zoom in and zoom out and all kinds of, right? Because CapCut has a lot of templates like that, especially if you choose them for that style. But it can be 10-second, 20-second, 30-second videos. Second is the voiceover. You don't even need CapCut. You can just have it literally on your iPhone, cut the space before and after, speed it up, add the voiceover after on an app like InShot. All of them. A lot of them are even free. Third type of content is now you go into talking head videos, which is you still talk, but you do not look at the camera. Instead of having, the way that the cameras are recording right now, like I'm not looking at the camera because it's recording me this way, right? So talking head video would be me looking at the camera and then boom, boom, talking. But you slightly turn a little bit. It's almost like being interviewed. The camera records you from the side. You can look at the laptop and act like you're being interviewed. But in order to really make the video valuable is you find questions on Quora.com, on answerthepublic.com. You type in the topic and then they will give you hundreds of questions.
Or ChatGPT.
Yeah, ChatGPT is also has to become your best friend. Once you get to this point where you can answer questions without having to stop every 5 seconds and read, now eventually, Captions app and CapCut app have a feature where the AI will literally get your eyes and turn it to the camera.
Yes, caption.
CapCut has it too. CapCut has it too. As long as you don't move too much during the video, so let's say you stay in one spot and you don't do too many things like this. Captions and CapCut and a lot of others using AI will literally take your face and turn it towards the camera.
Great.
It still doesn't look 100% natural, but it will do the job.
Yeah.
And then once you get to that point, I would say you should have someone maybe once or twice as you speak for them to just move the camera and then you start recording it. Because eventually you'll have to end there. You'll have to end to the spot where, think about this. These apps are free.
Right.
Like YouTube Shorts.
We didn't have this.
YouTube Short. Well, you had it.
Well,
Facebook showed up. Facebook.
Captions.
Oh no! I'm
ChatGPT.
talking about social media apps like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, Pinterest. All these apps are free.
Right.
You post on them, and you get business. Now, of course, you have to post a lot, and you have to title it properly. But now, ChatGPT has a free version.
Wow.
So ChatGPT can give you the right title to give you a better shot at getting found, right? And we cannot complain. These apps are free. If you want to be a business owner and want to be part of the 1% and you want to live life on your own terms and you want to make your own schedule, you shouldn't be allowed to complain about this, right? Business is just a game of competition. Who's the best wins, and it's just as simple as that. I always say competition is great because it means but now you have to be ready to go to war, right? You have to be ready to destroy your competition in a way, not in a bad, I'm not talking from a negative standpoint you have to destroy them by doing a better job, by answering the damn phone when the phone rings. That's one of the main problems that a lot of businesses, they don't answer the phone, and then you go next to the I can't remember, it's not too long ago what I was looking for.
But even my students,
IV therapy,
they always say nobody answer. I called a couple.
The trainings, so it's part of the game.
And I was the first one that answered right away.
Yeah, it's but in order for the phone to ring, somebody has to find you, right? And in order to find you, they have to find some type of content about you.
From you.
It can be organic, but organic just takes a long time. That's why I'm not a big fan of staying with organic. Organic, it's everything from posting videos on social, that's organic content, to posting blogs. It will increase eventually your site's ability to show up in search results, but it's going to take
time.
6 months plus if you're doing it consistently. So you have to be okay with not, and that has to be integrated with Google Maps. And so it's a whole other episode that we can talk about that. But that's how they become comfortable, right? I learned this, this phrase, be comfortable with the. I mean, it's, if you think about it, it applies in any part of life. Doesn't matter that it's about marriage, fitness, getting healthier, losing weight, growing in business. Like, you will get to a point where like, it feels uncomfortable to, right? Like, it even, like, it happens to everybody.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes I get too much in my zone and I get work here, like just locked in my studio and office. And then I have to go to attend an event and whatever, and I'm thinking, it's an hour to drive there, an hour to come back, right? And then I realize, like, you fucker, wake up. What do you complain about? Right? But a lot of times I'm thinking, how do I value my time? Does it make sense for me to go there with the possibility to meet someone, right? But you just have to pick your battles. So there will have to be comfortable with the camera eventually, and it's not a matter of like you asked me this the other day, what can I do to stop, because you have this event coming up in August or July in Mexico, and gonna speak in front of 600 people, and you said, well, I have to attend more events to get more comfortable. And I said, no, you have to do more Instagram and YouTube live, because it's a live event and people will ask you questions. So you have to be okay on camera having 600 people on the other side first, and then just think, what can I say in these 30 to 40 minutes for the audience to take that thing, and when they go home to think, God damn, Kuzmina just shared this one tip with me that I cannot believe it's free. Right? Yeah. And the moment you stop worrying about, oh, how do I, of course it's important, you're in the video, so you have to look, but when you stop worrying about yourself and you start worrying about what can I do for the audience to really feel mind blown by what you said, for them to apply, everything becomes irrelevant. And you won't feel
it's
anxiety
hard.
Anymore.
It's hard at the beginning, like everybody, like anything else. But once you start doing it, because I remember when I started my YouTube channel, you remember, I had so many things in my head, like how people are gonna listen to me, why they gonna listen to me, are they gonna laugh about my accent, are they gonna, so many things. But as long as you give them, exactly like you said, as long as you give them something and people learn one thing from you, then
and a lot of people don't really understand when you hear a lot of like gurus and people online and experts saying, oh, like, you have to give value. The fuck does that even mean? Well, think about something that you paid a lot of money for and you're willing to give it away for free, that people will think, God damn, if this is free, what will I get when I pay for a program from her?
I know. Yeah.
That thing just changed it, because one thing is 99% of people won't do anything with it. They'll just take it and collect dust eventually, and then 1% will eventually apply it. But the biggest thing is, think about the audience, and the most important is, think about yourself 5 years ago, 3 years ago, depending how long ago you started. What was one thing that you wish somebody would have told you? Yeah. And then translate that into videos, into whatever events, and take. But I guess, I get passionate about this topic, so we can probably have a lot of different.
A lot more questions.
We'll probably wrap this up here, guys. Of course, you'll be able to find both of the episodes in the description below. And again, I know we kind of talked more about the whole beauty industry from a local standpoint, but this applies to any kind of business that it's local. The next episode will touch on the lash trainer marketing, how to design your programs and how to kind of put them together and how to start selling it and the marketing for that, because that's a little bit different.
Yeah.
And you have a lot more wiggle room with the budget. But this was actually a great episode, I feel like.
Yeah.
And again, we just have to be more consistent with them too. But we did get a lot of content from a lot of your classes, so those are also valuable. Anything you want to leave the audience with?
No, thank you so much for all the
Anytime.
Answers. And if you guys have more questions or any other questions, specific questions, you can just feel free to let us know. We're going to because this episode will go on all the audio platforms. So on Spotify and Apple, you're not able to leave a comment. But within the description of the episode, you'll be able to see the YouTube episode. So you can either comment or email, or you have a contact form in there where you can submit the question, and then we'll address it right here on the podcast. Or even on Instagram, because those
are
if Instagram too.
You'll have both of our accounts in the description below. But thanks
so we can do more.
Thanks for the questions, and yes, we'll catch you guys in the next episode. Take care.
Thank you.